And oh Lord, here, let me refresh. And we're off. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Tuesday, June 24th, AD 2025, and I will get to your calls, everybody, hopefully. 1-888-775-3773, live on punchy.tv/hake. Very cool. Also live on Pilled, I presume. Yes, indeed, I do see it on pilled.net. Shout out. And Facebook, I presume. What's up, Clayton, Cloud, Imperfect, Citizen, Fish, Fanatic, Marilyn, Queen. She's God. It's not blasphemy if it's just mess, ingest, whatever. Joel, or is it Joel? Joel, probably. AG, Mr. Pink. Thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson raiding the stream. That is to say, Pastor Chatelet helping out. He's a moderator on Rumble on both channels, so he's able to raid the stream. You go /raid and then space and then paste the link, and it goes. It's cool. What's up, D-Live crew? Kilo Alpha Tango, CEO of Based, Beta Legs, Misty. I'm sure she's there sometimes, right? It's a disturbing imagery over there on the whatever it's called. D Live. Let me refresh my X stream. Yeah, I do stream on X. Can you believe it? I believe it. I have news to get to, various things on which to comment, and perhaps some super chats to get to. I'm not sure if you guys have already given super chats to Hake. I'm not positive, because I know we were. I do like to catch up on them. All right. I like to get them going, you know? But I also like to get going on the show. I'm live on BitChute nowadays. Can you believe it? BitChute has live streaming at last. Hardly anybody goes there, and I don't blame them. But you're welcome to go. If you go, they will build it. Wow, look at the beautiful ball earth. I haven't been to Santa Monica in months, it feels like. Anyway, guys, Trump secured a ceasefire, but more importantly than any ceasefire, and we don't know if it is really a ceasefire, if they ceased firing in this ceasefire, but more important than that, a little disclaimer. I disclaim everything that's said on the Hake Report, even by me. I don't represent myself. Because, you know, and well, you're supposed to represent you, right? So if you call in on my show, you represent you. You're not representing the Hake Report. And let's say I go unconscious and let somebody talk too much and say all kinds of crazy stuff. I disclaim it. I disclaim it. And I disavow my whatever. But anyway, it doesn't represent Bond. It doesn't represent JLP or the network. It's just, we're talking. And so a little disclaimer. It seemed like Trump was disclaiming or even disavowing and even cussing about these people who don't know what the world they're talking about. He didn't say world. Whoa, explosion. So, nice. And so I will get to your calls. Some of you guys are already calling in about that. 1-888-775-3773. Let me pull up let me make sure that I have my stuff going here. I like to have stuff ready. no endorsement is implied, okay, in what we're saying, nor condemnation or whatever, you know? Because you guys are like, oh, Hake hates the flat earthers. No, I don't. I don't condemn the flat earthers. Or the Jew haters, or the Jews, or Israel, or Iran, or my competitors. You guys promoting my competitors. Elijah was calling in and rattling off all these normie sort of normie friendly competitors of mine in the world, and he doesn't even agree with them. He's trying to promote Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder, whatever, dude. But I'm not condemning them, nor necessarily endorsing them. But look at the ball earth. The world, life goes on, okay? Life goes on. So, anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the beautiful scenery here if you're watching the stream. Show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys! So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have my never, but never, never tell a woman your problems. I avow that one. I do not disclaim that. But but it does not represent bond, even though it is a t-shirt available on the JessieLeePeterson.shop probably. Let me check. If you go to JessieLeePeterson.shop, mosey on over here, you may find, this is JessieLeePeterson.shop. You can get your Punchies coffees. You can get the signature blend. And you can get it whole bean. People like it. People like the whole bean. It smells great, by the way. Even in the bag. You can get blacker than black, extra dark roast with dark chocolate and toasted almond notes. Tasting notes. Balanced acidity on the medium roast. Caramel and cocoa. Or caramel if you're one of those snooty, hoity-toity people. And then there's a season your roast, single origin, from one place. You know, the Jews don't like to mix their meats and things like that. Don't mix your coffee beans. Fruity, floral, bright acidity from Mexico. There was a funny thing about the Mexicans, the Mexican community. July just feels white t-shirts. When she's crying, she's lying, including the males crying. Basically women. I almost wore my Stay With It t-shirt. A man with, or anyone with anger really, is a murderer. And if you view all, you can probably find the never. Let me see. Never, if I search never. Yeah, it's there. If you search, never tell a woman your problems. So see if you like it. That's white ink. And nice, whatever. You gotta get them when they're hot, because they may not last. Get them while supplies last, or while we're offering them. Okay, they sometimes become collector's items. But I mentioned that there is a supposed ceasefire going on, but did they cease firing? I don't know. it seemed like maybe not. Here, let me tell you about briefly, Iran and Israel accused one another, accepted a ceasefire deal, but Israel says Iran launched more missiles, disputed by the military, and maybe it was a mistake or whatever, it didn't even do anything. And so Israel and Iran Tuesday accepted the ceasefire plan. Trump announced it like last night, which is this morning for over there, because they're like, what, 8+ hours ahead? Something like that. Time in Israel. 7:10 p.m. Time in Iran. 7:40 p.m. What? That's weird. They're like an hour and they're a half hour ahead of Israel. Who knew? They live in a whole different world from us. But yeah, that's 12-day war roiled the Middle East. Tehran launched a limited retaliatory missile strike attack on the U.S. military base in Qatar. I heard from our greatest president, he posted on Truth Social. I don't know if I should go to... Okay, yeah, here's mine. He said, Iran officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities, claimed he, real Donald Trump on Truth Social, with a very weak response, which we expected, and a very effectively countered 14 missiles fired, 13 knocked down, one was set free, he states with the quotes on it. Because it was headed in a non-threatening direction, I'm pleased to report no Americans were harmed, hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system. Quote-unquote system. Nice, huh? And there will hopefully be no further, all caps, hate. Nice. I want to thank Iran, for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Is that what Trump did for Iran too, before they dropped the bomb on them? Maybe did the U.S. notify Iran before we dropped those bombs on those 3 locations that supposedly everybody knows about, but I never heard of? But I don't know geography. So was it like playing patty cake, like I said, they were just playing patty cake, Trump and Iran, to like make them calm down and get it out of their system? Yeah, there you go. Get it out of your system. And then you notify them so they can not kill people so much. That's a good way to do war, was it, where you like pretend to try to hurt each other's stuff, but not each other. And then you say, okay, uncle, let's have peace now. But I don't know if that's going to work like that, but maybe it will. Perhaps Iran can now proceed, but at least they save face. They look manlier than patty cake. Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it, turn it, mark it with a B. Then throw it in the oven for a baby and me. I disavow the oven part. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. I retruthed that one because Trump told the truth, perhaps. So he said that, and then they started this supposed ceasefire thing, and now they're not getting along, but who knows, maybe they will. He cussed. Trump's like, they've been fighting so long that they don't know what the boop they're doing. That's a time to cuss, because they're doing war. War is a time for a man to cuss, I think. Israel killed at least 4 people early Tuesday morning. Launched a blitz of airstrikes. Imagine that. Gone. Dang. You don't want to be dead. However, Israel's military said they had detected further Iranian missile fire hours after the start of the ceasefire. Iran's military denied they fired the missiles at Israel hours after it began. So said state television. Whatever. So there's your little update for the thing. I don't know. We'll do a meanwhile in America later, maybe, because there is stuff going on. In fact, let me show that to you. Meanwhile in America, This was amusing, okay? It's a joke, but it was funny. Somebody tagged me on it. Listen to this guy. Let me turn it down just a touch, just so it's not blasting your ears.
Any information I get on ICE raid?
Okay, so this guy claims he's on TikTok and IG and places, and he claims that he's going to join ICE to help the Mexican community. Enjoy. But it's fake, okay? It's fake.
What's up, guys? I just applied to be an ICE agent, and my plan is that any information I get on ICE raids, I'm going to report back to the Mexican community and, you know, just try to help you guys out. Also, every time a Mexican gets deported, I'm sneaking 2 Mexicans back into the United States. I'm just here to help. That's my plan. I will update you guys along the way. Thank you.
What a chat, huh?
What's up?
So he's kidding around though, but somebody said TikTok user Cody 47041, attention Homeland Security. He's trying to undermine ICE and join ICE and then report to the. You know it's fake when he says Mexican community. That alone tells you that it's fake. And he's a blue-eyed, beautiful American person. But people act like they think it's real, and they promoted his IG. Cody with 2 Ys, loves pizza. And he's just being funny. It's just satire. Calm down. But anyway, FYI, don't fall for it. Have a little sense. Is that IQ that you guys lack, or is it just excitement and not really paying attention? No, I'm not. It doesn't look fake to me. Hake, he's kidding. Look, if you go to his TikTok, it even says satire. But I knew it was satire even before it, because why is he going to say that that's what he's doing on TikTok? I mean, calm down. Whatever. Anyway, shout out to Cody. Let me get to Hayden in Texas, who's on the line over here. Speaking of Texas, how you doing, Hayden? Thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
Nice. This whole Iran-Israel thing is the reason why I didn't enlist into the military 4 years ago.
Oh, you were concerned that you saw this type of thing coming to a head.
Well, I didn't mind sacrificing my life for my country, but I'm sure as heck not going to sacrifice my life for Israel. I'll tell you that much.
Why not?
It's not worth dying for. I mean, if we do end up going to war, if we really do start getting involved in this war between Iran and Israel, then it's not going to look good, because you've heard the Samson option, correct?
Yeah, I have. Where they will, if their existence is threatened, they'll fire off nuclear weapons and just destroy the whole world with them.
The way they said it was, if we go down, you're going down with us, the United States.
Oh,
that's the way
okay.
they put it. Specifically
the United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really disappointed in Trump.
So maybe that's why it makes sense for us to help them, so that they don't Samson option us and bring our temple down.
I just don't understand why he. I don't know. I don't get why he has such a fascination for Israel. I really don't.
Are you aware that there's a whole lot of boomers and Christians who are really pro-Israel?
Unfortunately, yes.
Do you understand it at all?
The meaning behind it?
No, just do you understand why they have a fascination and a support for Israel?
I guess it's religious reasons, right?
A lot of it is, but also there is this perception that Israel has been our ally, and there's this claim that they're the only democracy in the Middle East, or something to that effect. And they're not Muslim, so they're not as terrorists, I guess, per capita.
Yep.
Things along those lines. They're more. It's a country where you can visit, and you'll be safer for the most part.
Yeah.
Over there.
Well,
So, yeah, but there is a religious thing because there is the statement that I've cited too in the Bible that if you bless Israel, you will be blessed. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. Something like that.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I point out applies to, that applies no matter who you're blessing or cursing, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so that's all that stuff is a big reason the boomers, and then also Israelis and Jews have come into America and gained a lot of influence in America, and so there's a lot of them, just as with anybody, have an affinity towards Israel, and if anything threatens Israel, they're gonna be protesting here about it, just like the Armenians protest here, and the Turks and the Muslims protest over here about stuff happening over there. And then a lot of those Christians have Jewish friends, or politicians have Jewish fellow politicians who are putting personal pressure on them. And so there's like, you have to face these people. They're in your country now, and they're of influence. So that's another big, obvious reason.
Well, I think the reason why so many of them come here is because they've been kicked out of over 100 plus countries.
I've heard
in the last
that.
2,000 years.
What countries are those?
I couldn't tell. It's pretty much every country except for European majority countries, European dominated countries.
So is that,
we're the only ones that accept them because of the whole religious thing. And
so is it Muslim and Buddhist and Hindu countries, or is it just mainly Muslim and countries, or what? What?
The ones you just listed are pretty much all the countries they're banned from.
Is it like China? Does it include like China, do you think?
I believe so.
Really?
I believe so. Yes.
But but China's Marxist, and Marx was Jewish, I thought. They like full-blown avow Marx, I thought I heard. Which is odd to me, because Marx wasn't Chinese. What in the world? I thought China was Chinese. But anyway.
I know for sure that it was Muslim in like countries like India and stuff. I know that for sure. That's a fact.
India did ban them?
I'm almost positive, yes. I know for sure it was Muslim country.
Right. And I can understand Muslim countries because they don't. Eli says Spain kicked them out for letting Muslims in. Oh. Well, I totally get the resentment of the subversion that they do, because they're so subversive. Right. And I don't think that they deny that, I think.
No. Yeah,
I get the resentment, and it's like, you got to get out of here type of thing,
right?
Type of mindset.
Because they push for multiculturalism in our countries, but
are those countries that banned them, are they thriving now, though? Like, I don't know if that's a way to go. Because a lot of times people will say, I don't know that you're saying that, but a lot of times people will say, we should kick them out and be just like those other countries.
Well,
I think I don't know if that's the wise way to go.
I think, well, whether they were successful or not, I think the reason why they kicked them out was because they were probably trying to change their culture, like they're trying to do here in America and in Europe,
right?
But which was a smart thing to do. Whether or not, if they were successful or not, the countries they were in, they went into, but it's just a mess. I'm really not happy with Trump in being so quick to help in Israel, and because this is not our war. Despite the supreme leader of Iran saying death to America,
right?
I think that's because I think he's just upset with how pro-Israel Trump is, and I'm just not happy about it.
Yeah. So were you really thinking of joining the military, and then this was why you didn't?
4 years, yeah. 4 years ago was around the time I, quote unquote, woke up to the whole, everything.
Right.
And I was all in. I was like, I want to, serve our country, do the best I can do. But then, I studied. I did some studying, and I wasn't happy with what I was what I came about. So I chose not to.
Well, you would have been under Biden or Kamala 4 years ago, right? So that's another.
That was one of the factors.
That's another great reason not to join. I thought of joining, and it was during the time that Obama was in office, and
oh gosh,
it's much more of a sketchy time. Trump, although he does support Israel more than you like, I don't really have an opinion about it, but he's much more stable and restrained, and he projects strength and kind of threatens people. You better be peaceful, or else you're going to get more than you asked for, you're asking for more than you can handle, basically. And so that makes for a more trustworthy commander-in-chief, where you're not going to be sent willy-nilly any old place to die. And under the commander-in-chief of Trump, you're going to have better rules of engagement, because I remember under Obama, he basically tied the soldiers' hands behind their backs to where they couldn't shoot back unless fired upon. They had to wait until they were actually fired upon, type of things, And now that stuff sounds nice and reasonable, but it's not actually nice and reasonable,
I know what you mean.
And so that's, it matters in that. The reason I'm bringing these things up is because people claim it doesn't matter the leadership because even Trump is supporting Israel. Yeah, but he's supporting them in a way that's also supportive, less worse for America,
Right.
So. Anyway.
And I got to give him, he is doing more good than, what Harris would have done by far.
Yep.
So I got to give him credit there.
Do you still think that he's the man for the job?
I don't regret my vote at all.
Nice.
I voted for the lesser two evils. So,
Yeah.
And I always,
do you think he is evil?
I don't think he's evil. I think he's naive.
Okay. On this issue, he's a boomer, that type of thing. And then also he has donors and influence. So are you thinking that he's controlled? Because I brought up the donors. You didn't bring up donors.
He's definitely one of your competitors brought up that and this person is pretty close to Trump. They said that he's being controlled in the White House by Netanyahu and the Jews and stuff, which I 100% agree with.
I could agree that he's influenced by them, but he also influences them. It's not like he's solely controlled by them, because he just knows that he has to work with them among many other people he has to work with. He's much more his own man than a lot of people think. Just because there's
true.
Jewish women and people who've given him a lot of money, that's not what makes a man beholden to you. It makes a male beholden to you. Like a lot of times, if you butter somebody up or you give them a lot of money, yeah, they are controlled by you because they're not men. But he's a man, and so he knows that he has to work with these people and make deals with them and do things that are good for them. But also, I don't know. I don't really think that he's compromised the way that people think.
Yeah, I don't know the way you word it could be said in many different ways. But I came across this thing on social media this morning. It was like an A or B option type question. Do you think him sending these strikes to Iran prevented World War III, or do you think it's going to encourage it? And what do you think?
I don't know, but I tend to think that he does things with peace in mind, with long-term peace in mind.
That is true.
And whether that works or not is it's not up solely to him, It may be inevitable that war breaks out. So
because you saw both Iran and Israel break the ceasefire.
Yeah.
Either last night or this morning.
And he was.
So I mean, it's just like.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's just like, and you saw a statement this morning when he was boarding the plane, right?
Yeah, where he cussed. He said they don't know what they're doing in either side.
Right. So I mean, so clearly he's fed up. I'm just like, why do we even get involved in the first place? This is their war, you know? And according to him, I mean, they've been fighting each other for a long time too. So I just don't get it, Hake.
When you're all interconnected, there's Russia and China have like a history of supporting Iran, and maybe Pakistan, and somebody claimed India, I don't know. And then we have a long, well, decades anyway, history of supporting Israel for over its existence. And so there's all kinds of deals and things going on. There's probably things going on in the background that you and I and people who know more than you or I really don't even know, that may be the reason, the real reasons, you know? So it makes it something that I hardly care about, because I have no influence over it. I can talk about it, and I can agree or disagree with it, or I can just neither agree nor disagree with it. And no matter what I do, there's going to be somebody mad about it, because when there's a strong action taken or an act of violence taken, people who have nothing to do with that violence get angry about it, partly because they're mad about Jews, or they're mad about America's getting involved overseas or whatever. But there's really nothing that it seems like I don't see the consequences yet. I don't see how it's of consequence really to us at this point yet. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't really be. So I just can't I can't bring myself to care about it that much.
Yeah. Well, the more we talk, like, you know, if the more we use, you know, your platform and Jesse's platform and stuff, the more we talk about it, you know, the better. Because a lot of people were not happy with him making this move.
Right.
You know,
a lot of
getting
his
involved
supporters.
A lot of the MAGA base were not happy with it. So,
yeah.
You know, the more we talk about it, the better. Because I believe he does listen to, you know, these higher up platforms and stuff. So
he does. He listens to people in general, I think. He listens to. There was this guy, Steve Bannon, who was in his White House at one point, and I heard that he had a meeting with him to kind of calm him down, because he was ready to drop the bomb real quick, and he listened to him, and then he ended up dropping the bomb after saying 2 weeks. I like that he's unpredictable. I know, like what you indicated, that he does listen to people. He is humble in that way. People think he's prideful. I think he's humble.
No, only Democrats say he's prideful. They just result in name call. They have no real argument against Trump. All they say is they're really trying to make it sound like he has dementia now.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like,
do you think there's anything to that? I saw some video that one of these Democrats played, and I'm like, none of this stuff really proves anything. It doesn't even look bad.
No. I mean,
I almost showed it on my show the other week. Go ahead.
You saw how he sounded this morning boarding the plane. I mean, he's so sharp for being 79.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is he 79 now?
He just turned 79 June 14th, I think it was.
On Flag Day. Yeah, 79, you're right. Wow.
I know.
Interesting.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm leaning towards I'm leaning towards maybe that this may start World War III. I don't know, because there's two such serious countries in the Middle East, Iran and Israel.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the U.S.'s involvement in it. I don't know. I'm really uncertain about it.
True. I think probably those people who are leaders right now in these countries making decisions, maybe they're uncertain what's really going to happen too.
Right.
I saw it as Trump spanking Iran, and then he let Iran try to hit back, and you know, in that Truth Social post that I just read, he said that Iran gave them warning. Hey, we're going to launch some missiles at these places.
Right.
So that gave the people a chance to, evacuate, and that's considerate. That means that, and I heard that, and I'm not sure, Trump may have given them warning before he dropped those bombs. Hey, get out of there! We're dropping these bombs, and there's nothing you can do about it. So get out of there.
He may have. I don't know.
He might have, and that is like even though he's dropping bombs and destroying their stuff, that's a sign of like goodwill. That's a civilized men type of thing.
A heads up.
Yo, heads up! I'm gonna smack you real hard in your nose, or I'm gonna smack you real hard. So present your shoulder, or something. I don't know.
Did you see his truth post about what's her name, AOC trying to impeach him this morning?
No.
You should read that to your audience. They'll really like it a lot.
Nice. Thank you for the tip, man.
Most recent truth post. So yeah, I wanted to see your insight on this whole Iran-Israel thing. So I appreciate you taking my call, Hake.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in and giving your take on this stuff. Shout out to the Jews. Take care, Hayden.
If you say so. All right, see you, Hake.
All right, bye. Nice. Aaron in Maryland is on the line over here. Aaron, thank you for calling, man, and holding. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
How are you feeling, man? You drinking enough water? You feeling cool?
I'm feeling fine. Drinking plenty of water.
Nice, man. Yo, I'm out golfing right now, man. I got questions for you about golfing. Do you golf? Do you like golfing?
I have in the past. I don't know.
Let me know if it gets too loud for you.
I do
There's
hear
a lot
them.
of black people around me right now.
Okay, yeah, I do hear them in the background. That's funny. So, are you in the Baltimore area, or is it black people everywhere?
It's black people everywhere. I'm in D.C. right now.
Oh, cool. Shout out.
Yeah.
Oh,
is
hey,
it loud?
I found
is the golf cart too loud?
So far, you're okay. I don't hear the golf cart at all. Trump.
Nice.
Let me read this thing that somebody sent, and I don't know if you care about it, but Donald J. Trump stated, "Stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the quote-unquote dumbest people in Congress, is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that crooked and corrupt Democrats already done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all of the victories that the USA has under the Trump administration. Democrats aren't close to winning. She can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find out she is not qualified for office, but far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual like Jasmine Crockett, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country, yet the failed country she comes from doesn't have a government, drenched in crime and poverty, rated one of the worst in the world. It's even rated, if it's even rated at all. How dare the mouse tells us how to run the United States of America? We're just now coming back from the radical left experiment with Sleepy Joe, Kamala, and the auto pen in charge. What a disaster that was. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I was just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my physical as a doctor, and said President Trump aced it, meaning I got every answer right instead of her constant complaining. Alexandria should go back home to Queens, where I also was brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streets in the district that she represents, quote-unquote, which she never goes to anymore. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great Palestinian Senator, crying Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on very thin ice. She and her Democrat friends have just hit the lowest poll numbers in congressional history. Go ahead and try impeaching me again. Make my day," said Trump. Nice. Sorry about that.
That's all from Trump?
Yeah, that was Trump, his social truth about Cortez, Alexandria.
And then what's the question for me about that?
Oh, nothing. I was looking for it because Hayden told me about it, and I just thought I would interrupt with you over it. I don't really have a question for you about it, but if you have a comment, feel free. Or if you want to talk about something else, we can move forward.
The only comment I can say is I can't say the real word I want to say, so I got to say the radio word.
Okay.
For real. what's the A word? How you replace the A word?
Real A word, S word. Donald
no,
Trump.
real A word, ninja.
Real A-N is what Trump is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trump is the realest A-word ninja I've ever seen in my life. You can't even believe this exists. You're like, what's going on? Is this real? Like, sometimes I look at the news and I go like, yo, when is this dream going to stop? Like, this bubble got to burst sometime, right? Somebody has to come through and do their evil business so that we be like, oh, yeah, this is back to real life again, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's just handling business, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think over the last couple of days, I wasn't ride or die for Trump.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't be ride or die for anybody. I disavow. But
right,
man, I'll tell you what. I think I might be ride or die for Trump, bro.
Nice.
It just happened. Yeah. It's
what
amazing.
do you think about?
But
and what's changing your mind? Is there something else that's in the news changing your mind other than this post?
It's not really. It's not. Well, obviously, everything in the news is changing my mind, right?
Yeah.
And because I don't know Trump, but the way the world is moving and how, bro, I'm sorry to call you bro, Hake. I know you're older than me. I respect you. You're my elder. You know what I'm saying? Much respect, my brother. My elder brother.
I don't take bro as a sign of disrespect. It's just how you talk. It's fine.
Okay. How am I talking right now? We're all good, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, cool. So, look, man, bro, Trump is just saying what he wants to say, does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And then all these, hey, how many world leaders are there that could speak out and say whatever and do whatever, but they're just like in check. They're just like, and they're little, you know what I mean? They can't even move. They're just the whole world is moving off of Trump.
Right.
It's amazing. I've never seen a president like this in my life. In my life, man. And you know what? Not even in my life. Look in the history books. Every president has moved according to the circumstance, according to the world, according to everything. This guy is just doing whatever he wants and then dealing with it as it comes. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? And this was the most amazing because, you know, both parties have talked about Iran, all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have. And
Democrats,
and that's
Republicans,
why, you know, when
they always talk about it.
When the bipartisans, I don't agree with anything that the bipartisans do. When something is bipartisan,
they're liars, man.
I just call it evil.
He just exposed them.
When Trump,
he just exposed them.
Yeah, Trump sometimes gets the bipartisans to do stuff, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I agree with this, Trump, because you're getting bipartisans to do it. Now, if it's John Fetterman, you know, there's one guy I like who's a Democrat.
Who's that?
A male Democrat, okay. John Fetterman.
I don't know about him. Tell me about him if you have time.
He's the guy who had the stroke or something, and he talks weird, and he has like the Latina or Brazilian or something.
Okay, I just want to say, I want to preface before you continue. I just want to say it's so funny that the only Democrat you like had a stroke. It's so funny. Yeah. But go ahead. He's. I'm with a buddy of mine. I want to let him know. Hake just said that his favorite Democrat had a stroke. Go ahead, Hake.
I was listening to an interview with him from recent weeks, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, and he's talking about he supports Israel and he supports Trump and he on some things, and he's just I think part of it is that he's male and white and a little bit more normal and a little bit less phony politician than these other people. And so, he's a simp, he's a beta, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if his wife is even with him anymore. But she was kind of running the show on him.
His wife's situation.
Yeah, but I felt like his wife was running him for a while. And I don't know if that's the case anymore. But anyway, like, he's just, I think it's because he's white. And since he's white, you know how a lot of whites are just kind of fair-minded? They don't just play the Republican team. Or
they have decency. Fair-minded is another way to put it, but the first thing that whites have is they have decency in dealing with things. Did you hear how Trump even addressed the whole, what I loved, he called it the 12-day war? Oh, my gosh. I love that, man.
I hope it sticks.
12-day war.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how if I don't want to speculate, but I don't want to speculate, so I'll just drop it. But
right.
I'm saying the way whites, even the way he addressed Iran, he said, look, beforehand, he said, guys, we don't want to do this. Guys, we don't want to do this. Don't do this. He did it. After he did it, he appreciated Iran for even letting U.S. know that there was going to be a strike happening. He made this guy is like peak white. Peak white, bro.
That's true, man. You know, that stands in contrast to people like Hillary Clinton and
oh, come on, Hillary Clinton. Why would you even?
Okay, never mind her.
Bring a white with
but,
Hillary Clinton. She's a woman.
I know. In contrast to Joe Biden, you know how Joe Biden.
That's not even fair, too.
Wouldn't
even alive.
But he wouldn't even.
I mean, I don't mean to say that. Sorry. I disavow.
Oh, what did you say? I don't want to hear what you
said. I said
said.
He's not even alive.
Oh, I mean, he's barely there. But I mean, he wouldn't even. But even when he was more with it, in his mind and his head,
Do you remember that?
Vaguely, he would talk
Did you
tough
see that before
about
when he was younger.
Yeah, but my point is, these phony politicians would talk tough, and condemn Putin, and they wouldn't even talk to Putin. How are you going to get peace? How are you going to get peace with somebody you're not even going to talk to? You're going to just talk tough against.
I know.
Whereas Trump is like, he'll compliment his enemies because he's trying to make a deal with them, and he'll say stuff that's like kind of fair. So it makes
not kind of fair. Hey, come on.
It's fair.
This
like he'll show appreciation for Iran, like you just said.
This guy is the epitome of fair.
Right.
This guy is the epitome of someone that wants peace. Yeah. I've never seen this. I've never even in history seen a leader talking that way, where they go, like, thank God. God bless the world for this. You know what I mean? Like, what? That's so wild. You know what I mean? It's you know what I love about it is I'm pretty sure he sees to do, right? And
you broke up a bit. You're pretty sure what?
I'm pretty sure he's just doing what he sees to do. It's not that deep. He's not trying to look like this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for everybody else that hates him, who hates this guy still, you're exposing yourself at this point.
Yeah.
You're like I don't want to curse, but your butt is out. A friend of mine told me that.
You're showing your A. Indeed.
You're showing your butt now. How can you hate on this guy? He just said, yo, thank God to the world. He didn't even say Iran, U.S., Israel. He said, thank God to the world. I've never seen a leader after a predicament say, thank God to the world that we're done. They say, thank God this is over or something. You know what I mean? Like, they do that cheap stuff. I almost cursed, my bad. But you know what I'm saying, man?
I do.
Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't want to keep, well, maybe we should. I don't know. He deserves it at this point.
Shout out to Trump. Appreciation.
Shout out to Trump.
Yeah. You don't want to get overly excited, but
no,
you want to see him for what he is.
Yeah. I mean, think about this, Hake, have you thought about it's only 6 months?
That's right. He just started January 20th, February, March, April, May, June. 5 months, actually. 5 months and a few days.
I think that when Jesse says, I always thought that Anchor, I'm not going to lie, Jesse says,
hang tight,
besides
callers.
Trump, who has more energy, is Anchor Baby. And in my head, I'm not going to lie, I was like, nah, Anchor Baby got more energy. But after these 5 months, I'm like, now I know why Jesse says it that way. I totally get it.
Nice.
Because that's insane. Not insane, I guess we could say amazing. I don't know another word for it, man. How do you do that? I don't understand it.
I don't know. But
okay.
Shout out.
So can I ask you now about what I called in for?
Yeah, real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you don't have to apologize. I enjoyed that conversation. That conversation was better. I think this one will be a quicker one.
Nice.
But I'm golfing right now, man. I'm not good at golfing, man. And I can't hit anything, but I still like golfing. I wanted to ask you about what you... Also, I think our president loves golfing too. So
yeah, it's his only form of exercise, I heard. Is what I read.
I think it's about that core and those shoulders.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I respect golfers.
And the glutes. Don't forget the glutes.
And golf. and yeah, I know that somebody took JLP golfing, and I overheard him say that he just focused on the ball and he was pretty good at it. So maybe you're just nervous. Why are you getting nervous, man? If you can't, are you hitting the ground instead of the ball?
The thoughts get to me, man. You know, sometimes you be swinging, and then in the mid-swing, you'd be like, will I ever get a girlfriend? And then the swing just messes up. You're like, what?
Yeah.
How'd that mess me up, man? I wasn't even thinking about that. But in the middle of it, it just came in. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes you start to swing, and then you go, 401k. And then it just, all of a sudden, it's in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Terrible.
Have you dealt with that when you golf?
Not really. I've only golfed twice in my life. I mean, I went to Top Golf one time to see a buddy of mine. But no, I went on a golf course once when I was like in high school with my uncle and my cousin, my little cousin.
Right.
And then we learned how to hit in like 8th grade or something. But yeah, no, I don't have anything for you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I wish you
Anything
well,
else
man.
you want to talk about? Anything else you got? Like,
no, I gotta.
The political.
I actually got to keep it moving. And you're
okay. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you taking my call. You know, I like talking to you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely. Bye.
Right on. Woo. Real quick, I wanted to talk with Jermaine in Canada, who's on the line over here. Jermaine, thanks for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, Hank, how are you?
Hey, doing fine.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to actually, before that, you know, didn't the Bible say, like, you know...
Come to your... Are you on like a speakerphone or Bluetooth, or you're out in the wind or something?
No, I'm outside. Yeah, I'm outside.
Okay, yeah, just stay close. Yeah, you're sounding great now.
You know when the Bible says when there's no law of the land, and then when someone strong is in power now, and that person is doing the law of the land, people see it as tyranny. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, totally, man. That's what's happening with the immigration enforcement, and probably more than just that too, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's happening all over.
They're acting like he's a king or a dictator or something, and all he's doing is enforcing the law like we should have been doing all along.
Yeah,
what a mess.
Because in the Old Testament, when Moses was leading out the Israelites from there, and they're going to the promised land that was promised to Abraham and Joseph or whoever, they say if they're not going to abide by the law that you guys are given by the Lord, they cannot be in the land. They should be pushed out because they're not following the law that was given to them by God.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny, you know. I don't know the full scripture. That's just a walkover of it.
Right.
but I called about this guy. I don't know if I can say his name. Derek probably mentioned it to you.
Yeah. The guy from The Crucible, Andrew Wilson, on whose channel I've appeared a few times. Yes.
Well, what do you think about Andrew Wilson now that, you know, he's doing a lot of debates, but what do you think about that?
I'm really impressed with how he's grown like crazy out of like seemingly nowhere. He was really wanting... His channel was smaller than mine when he was having me on the show, on his show. And, you know, I was kind of edgy for his channel, so I was sort of a risk to have on. And so a lot of my debates are not on his channel, but because of that reason, I think, because he wanted to protect his channel, which I don't blame him. And but he was working at it, and I think that he got in with, I think what made him big, I'm not sure, but my impression was that he started working with that guy on the Whatever podcast, which has on a bunch of like OnlyFans, dirty video women, gals, maybe grown females, but. And so he has been a very aggressive debater for truth and Christianity and facts. And so that's refreshing to a lot of guys. On Punchy TV, we had this guy who's also friends with him, Jake Rattlesnake of Rattlesnake TV. And that guy's been on the JLP show and the Punchy TV. And he said that there's a lot of young people who are just hungry for just bold truth being spoken or bold facts and principles being spoken. And so that's popular with the people. It's almost like he's gotten on Piers Morgan's show, international TV show, multiple times now. It's almost like Jordan Peterson level attention. Maybe not quite that big, but
yeah, I don't know, because he's been on Fresh and Fit too.
Okay,
he's been on whatever and Fresh. I think that's what
I think he's like a regular on whatever.
Yes, he's a regular.
He's
now.
almost like a co-host or something, seemingly.
Yeah,
but from his home, like over Zoom or something.
Yeah. Brian won. I think he made him a co-host or wanted to. I'm not sure if they follow through with that deal. But Andrew Wilson is very interesting. Like he debates with a lot of facts, but from what I'm getting to understand, without picking a side and just having a way to see, sometimes the facts is wrong because society's been brainwashed down for so long, but you think the facts that you see is true, but it's a lie, right? So I get that younger people are like hungry for something different and just the truth, but
right.
Is it really the truth, though? I don't know. It's funny to see.
That's why I distinguish facts from truth a lot of the time, is because the truth, you know how the Bible says, speak the truth in love, and Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life. A lot of the time, all Christians will spout out, in conservatives and people who are closer to the truth than the liberals, let's say, or they're closer to the facts anyway, and the real principles, Christianity and common sense and things. A lot of times they're prideful and angry, or they'll say stuff that's not quite true. Like one time in a viral clip, Andrew Wilson said, being a man is having a family, or being the man of your family. And yeah, if you have a family, that's part of what you're supposed to be doing. You're fulfilling that role. But I didn't agree with him that that's having a family is being a man. It would help. It would help the country, certainly, having kids and raising decent kids to become decent men and women to help take back the country, of course. I'm not taking that away from him at all. But I don't think that he said it right. And I would love to ask him about it, but
maybe that was just the surface gist of it. Maybe it could go deeper, but because of time, But one thing that he brought up that I don't fully agree with him on it or disagree with him. I just have a way to see the truth because he was saying, well, Myron says this too, where they're talking about undercover or covert feminists, they're conservative women,
right?
That they're working and they're making money and they have kids. You and on Punchy TV, you, Nick, and Joel, they talk about this too. When Jordan Peterson interviewed Megyn Kelly, and her mom wasn't pretty much there for her, kind of neglect her and work and make money, and now Megyn Kelly's kind of pretty the same. But Andrew Wilson said they're covert feminists, but I know he has kids with his wife now, and I think they're growing kids.
Okay.
But his wife is pretty much doing the same thing now, so it's just interesting to see. I'm like, wow. So, they'll talk about the other side, but they will do the same thing. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with his wife. I've seen her a little bit, Rachel or something like that. Rachel Wilson.
Rachel.
Yeah, I don't know their situation. There's a woman who's the wife of Clarence Thomas, who hosts her own show, and she has Jesse Lee Peterson, Ginny Thompson, and she's had JLP on a lot, and she's very conservative, very Trump supporting. I don't think of her as a feminist. I don't know, but it's also interesting that she does have a show, and there's these other women, conservative women Christian women who've like there's this guy who recently had a heart attack, and he's a very famous preacher, televangelist preacher, and his wife Frances E.S. would have JLP on her show multiple times several years ago for a little while, and I'm blanking on the name, but there's these women who talk, and I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion either way because I don't know. But you're talking about something that's kind of interesting, is women talking politics and talking religion and talking on the internet and being out front. Whereas it seems more appropriate for a woman to be quiet and not out there. But at the same time, I like some of these women and appreciate some of the true things that they say, like Pearl. Granted, she's not married, so she can be out there more, I guess.
Yeah.
But these other women are married, you know. Ann Coulter I really like sometimes, but Ann Coulter gets shrill too, and she turns on Trump sometimes. So she's kind of like in my opinion, falls to the emotional stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, I'm not sure, I might be making this up, but I think the Bible says that some women, they're supposed to teach the younger women like how to be, but I don't know if most of these women know how to be.
Right. Yeah. Men don't even, the men who are trying to be men, which that's part of that world that you're describing with Andrew and all them. The men don't even know how to be, much less the women.
Yeah, it's true, because they'll go on this podcast and they'll like roast the girls, which is entertaining, but it's not good because, I mean, you're judging them and then they're judging you, so
right.
It's not going to make a big difference.
Yeah, that's just basically judgmental Pharisees as opposed to being just speaking the truth in love, you know?
Yeah, because I remember I used to be, tell them the truth. Yes, that's the truth.
Right.
Back in the days, but
Me
really,
too.
It wasn't the truth.
Yeah.
It's just a thrill.
That's right.
Like, yeah, you're telling them the truth. So it's just kind of funny now.
Indeed.
But all right, Hank. Thanks for your time. Just wanted to chat about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. So in short, I respect Andrew. I appreciate him, and I don't know. I don't follow him closely. I don't know where he stands. I don't know in terms of spiritually and all that. Yeah. But right on. Nice.
Yeah. He's a good dude from what I see. But
he's a net positive. He's like Ben Shapiro. Like Ben Shapiro's, although Ben Shapiro's not Christian, but he's still like sort of Christian friendly.
Yes.
And Andrew Wilson, being a Christian, is also like Christian friendly and white friendly. I've never heard him be anti-white. Pro-America.
It's a good positive. Maybe not fully, but it's better than what else is out there, I think.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting though, because there's all this there's all these people, and people want to join teams. They want to be team. There's another guy who's very famous, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, I consider a great guy. But then when they're team and Nick Fuentes, his followers are, they become like the nastiest, worst people because they're caught up in an identity around the person. And
that is true.
being all team this or team that, that's not good for the country. That's not good for the people who are caught up in that.
Yeah. I mean, Nick Fuentes do say some good things.
I'm not even blaming Nick
true.
Fuentes necessarily for that.
It's true what you're saying.
Yeah. It's just the mindset of following people and thinking that they have influence is you're just trading one mode of being a lost male trying to be a man to being another. You're just trading one evil for another.
Amazing.
Yeah. Even Jesus' followers were a bunch of didn't even know what the heck.
That is true.
At many times. Nice.
That is true.
Well,
great. All right, Hank. I love your show, man. I'll call in again.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Bye. Sure.
Take care. Bye. Right on. Right on. Let me double check for any super chats that may have come in. Sion with a coffee over here. Samson. She calls me Samson because I called her Delilah. Because she tried to ask me something. And you know how Delilah tried to ask Samson different things. The source of his strength so that the Philistines could come and take away his strength. Anyway, Sion says, Samson, I think truly will end up in an interracial relationship. A homegrown Christian, but very smart woman. Black hands clapping emoji. I don't know if Jesse will approve, though, says Sion. So she's predicting that Hake is going to end up in an interracial relationship? Cancel those words, Sion. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How embarrassing. The interracial gals, I mean the non-white gals, they're very beautiful. But hopefully I have some sense to marry somebody who's at least mostly white. But I don't know if I marry. If/when. Terrible. Let me double check on Rumble. Evil is still real. Says chat tards bagging on Andrew Wilson. That is rich. Says evil is still real. Andrew Wilson. The Crucible. You can check Hake's appearances. I don't know if they're anywhere to be found, though. Because I don't know if they're up on podcast or anything. Even many of my modern-day debate appearances may not be the same link anymore. Because I post a blog post of any time that I'm on another show. thehakereport.com/appearances. So, yeah. I didn't take him as bagging on Andrew Wilson. He just didn't really... He just questioned him, it seems like. Questioning him without questioning him. Questioning me about questioning his whatever. But nice. Thank you, evil is still real. Yeah, sometimes they don't know. People don't know what they're talking about. Because then, let's say you start judging Andrew Wilson. Then you're looking down on somebody and you think that's not right. It's not right. Interracial? Bagging on Andrew? Bagging on him, ragging on him, trash talking him. Terrible. Okay, I have to get to Alex in California who's on the line over here. Alex, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, Bear.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Just taking a little 2-day vacation.
Nice. Congrats.
I like to take short ones. I don't like long ones because I get bored.
Yeah. It's good to
Are you
work.
like that too?
I kind of am like that. I do like my week off at the end of the year between Christmas and New Year's, but I don't really like taking long vacations other than that.
Yeah.
The weekend is good enough usually.
Yep, I get 1 day off a week or one and a half, and
yeah,
that's good enough for me. So.
Same.
I had kind of a mixed bag today, but I wanted to zip through kind of the shorter ones. First one being the Iran ceasefire.
Okay.
So if any of us have lived through 2020, we should probably be aware at this point that the powers that be have been trying their best to wind us up and, get stressed out and fighting each other, yada, yada.
True.
I did a personal experiment with this one once it first started, which was to bury my head in the sand and hop on YouTube and just work on like guitar tone stuff and watching everybody freak out and saying it's going to be World War III tomorrow and everything. And lo and behold, the next day we have a ceasefire and everything's fine. So I was right.
Yeah.
And I think people need to just really chill out with that kind of stuff. Like, we're not going to have World War III. We're not going to have Times Square nuked. If anything, we might have like sleeper cells, like Lone Wolf or little groups like that. Maybe stuff like that happening. But I think people need to just kind of chill out with the World War III stuff.
That's right. But do watch out. Do like you said, we live in a time when anybody can do a terror attack or a mentally ill mass shooting or whatever. So
yeah, I think those kind of individual or small group attacks are always going to be something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's that. I do wish Trump would not be such a lapdog for Israel, but there's nothing we can really do about that.
Okay.
The other quick thing, last time we talked about speeding up the playback speeds with YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm a metalhead, you know that, but I've never really been a Nirvana guy. Actually, very much dislike them. But I had them on 2X the other day, and it basically turned them into like a grindcore band, like a really fast punk band.
Nice.
And I thought that was really cool. So maybe check that out if you have time.
Cool, man. Thank you for the tip.
I'm on a BPM journey. I'm embracing the high BPM style of my drums,
right,
and kind of applying that to other things in my life. And then the last thing I want to do is kind of respond. Last week, Jaime responded to my call, and you kind of touched on it today about like being a man is having a family.
Yeah.
I do respect Jaime's reply to mine. I think he did take it in a direction that I don't really go in, but what he said wasn't incorrect. A lot of people are rejecting the family thing so they can be all about themselves, more me kind of deal. For me, it's kind of knowing what I'm up against with the modern woman, which I think is a reality. Like you guys touched on it with the Whatever podcast. Like you guys can see what kind of younger women, the mindset that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think for people like Jaime or people who have acquired their wife before like Trump or 2020, you guys you got the boat. The rest of us kind of missed the boat because 2020 and COVID definitely destroyed. I was going to say Trump set them all up first to lose their minds and got them all political and hating men, basically, which we didn't really have much before Trump.
Yeah. And
then COVID in 2020 really kind of put the nails in the coffin, destroying everybody's like emotions and personality and like our culture, social, you know what I mean? Like we're not the same after that. So I think if you were to have found your wife like before that, like that's great, good for you, but it's kind of hard for that type of a person in that position to speak on someone like me who's dealing with the modern version.
That's an interesting point about how stuff has changed, how women have their mindset has changed from those two events, Trump being an ongoing event that they're overreacting to, and the virus being a ridiculous thing that they got ridiculous over. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I'm sure that there's probably people in chat who are roasting right now and call me incel, but you have to admit there's some truth to it. Like there's definitely a difference in our society in general, not only just with women, but I'm focusing on the women. There's a huge difference between pre-Trump and pre-COVID women and now. So.
Interesting, man.
Y'all that are married, y'all are dealing with a different beast, a different animal than we are.
I don't know, man. I but okay, fair enough. It definitely has. It's undeniable that they've lost their minds. Many of them.
I mean, I'm not like attacking Jaime, but like, do you think he had to deal with like a wife who's, you know, going to turn his kids gay or trans or do any of this anti-white stuff? Like, he found his before all that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to be like whining and complaining about it. I'm just saying it's a different world we live in.
Right. Fair enough, man.
And that's pretty much all I have for today.
It's good to hear from you. As always, Alex in California, man. Take care.
All right, y'all have a good day.
You as well. Bye. That's cool. Also cool, Josh in Georgia. What's up, Josh? It's good to hear from you, man.
Hey, what's going on, Samson?
Not much.
Yeah, it's funny. Samson super chat, man. That was shout out to Sion.
Indeed. Shout out Sion.
Yep. And I was just going to comment on the whole issue going with Trump, and I just see it as we don't need to be like divided amongst like the conservatives or anybody, like you were just talking about Nick Fuentes, he didn't vote for Trump this time, did he? Or what
I was thinking about that. I think he said that he did not vote for Trump, and the reason was, a big reason was, I think, that he's gonna be supporting Israel way more than he wants Trump to, and it's gonna be bad for America. And so he's like, no, I'm not doing this. But yet, when Trump won, he's like, we did it, guys. And I think that I don't know. I don't hold it against him. Whatever.
Right.
Shame on them if they didn't vote for Trump. His listeners, if they didn't vote for Trump just because he didn't. I get that people are of influence, and it's a fact that people are of influence. But Joe Rogan supporting Trump, like, people listen to Joe Rogan, people listen to Nick Fuentes, people listen to me, hopefully because they think a little bit for themselves, And whether they're liberal or conservative or whatever, pro-white or anti-white or whatever, is because they think that they think for themselves, and so they're not necessarily going to be influenced even if they agree with me.
Right.
Just because I say something. Just because I say the Earth is obviously a globe doesn't mean that you see it.
Right. And I like the flat. I love the flat earthers, man.
Right.
They're always, I've never even cared about flat earth, but all the people I know, I love Robert from Kansas, and I like everybody on your show that calls in and has their different perspective, and that's what it's about. Just just observe and don't agree or disagree with anybody. Just observe and don't judge anybody. That's the big thing. We don't need to be like, you were talking about Thomas Massey yesterday, and I see that's like I don't want to. I think that's what'll kill us all from within, is if we're fighting against each other.
Yeah. Like right now with Trump doing this thing supposedly for Israel or against Iran, has the people. There was some infighting even on my show.
Yeah.
Me yelling at callers yelling at me, and there's no need to be heated.
Right.
It doesn't even. Yeah. It has no meaning.
Yeah, and I see, like, remember are you referring to Krishan and Mark or CJ and Mark? Because I love seeing I agree with all three of them in different. I don't agree, but I see where they're coming from.
Right.
Because it's like Mark is kind of like Nick Fuentes, where I don't see how they're kind of pro-Hitler or pro-Nazi. I don't see how that. You can be pro-white and not be pro-Nazi.
True.
But I think they see that as, they see pro-Nazi as pro-white, because it does look like, because there is, that's where, and that's Krishan's flaw. He's kind of not admitting that, listen, it's an attack on white people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like awkward to say that, listen, America is a white country and needs to be more white. It's like awkward for a lot of people to say that. So it's like, I'm like right in between of Mark and Krishan, where it's like, okay, I ain't pro Hitler, you know. I think that's going too far with it, but I still, I acknowledge, like Lin Yin-Chin says, you know, this is y'all are the host nation, you know.
Yeah.
Right. We need you. We can point that out without, I guess sounding too pro-white or something. I don't know. Without sounding Nazi.
Yeah.
But
sometimes
sometimes
I think that the pro-Nazi stuff is a reaction. You're just going to call us that. We're going to be it. And then there's so much disagreement over what really happened over there and what the Nazis and Hitler were really about. There's so much disagreement.
Right.
And then there's also this resentment and anger at the Jews today, and they're connecting it to what the Jews are doing over there. And so it's like it's a whole lot of anger and confusion, and I don't even know what the truth is, nor do I really care.
Right.
Because we can barely discern the truth now of the world.
Anything. Yeah, yep. We don't know what. I don't trust nothing the news says. You know.
Yeah.
we can't even trust our doctors anymore. You know, I don't even want to go to a hospital anymore. And it's the only cure for that is just to not be combative with your fellow man, whether they're liberal or conservative or anything. You know, just take it slow.
Yeah.
Because I think what it is I think only white people, I think most non-white people, we see Jews as white people.
Right.
But white people don't see Jews. Like you say that's not a normal white, right?
Yeah, and I only know that because I've learned ever since maybe 2016-ish, I've started to find out about Jewish people and their overreaction to criticism and hatred of them, and the overreaction and hatred for them by some of the whites. And so I realized, and I found out that they don't even necessarily support Trump on the level that normal whites do.
Yeah.
And partly because of like it's like a totally different culture. Even though they're intellectual and somewhat smart, very smart in some ways.
Right, and there are different kinds, though.
They just don't have that simple wisdom that Trump exudes, nor do they necessarily appreciate that simple wisdom that Trump exudes, many of them, which was sort of surprising to me. Like Trump, I don't know if it's because Trump is Christian or a man, and they don't think like a man necessarily. They think like an intellectual woman, you know, like an intellectual. An intellectual is not really a man. An intellectual is stuck in the mind, and Trump is not stuck in his mind. Trump has like simple common sense, and he just speaks the plain truth, no matter how ridiculous he sounds to the dominant culture.
And that's kind of, I mean, I know Jews that are like that too.
Right.
Because you got the Ben Shapiros, you got the Kushner, and you know what's the little Matan Eben guy that was on the Fallen State?
Is he Jewish?
Yeah, he's like a.
But Ben Shapiro didn't even see the or sometimes doesn't see the simple wisdom and beauty of Trump. But there is one guy who does, and that is my sixth favorite Jew, Stephen Miller, the bald guy who's in the Trump administration.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say Aiden Ross. You heard of the Aiden Ross guy?
I've heard of him. He's he's a kick streamer or something like that?
Right.
He's Jewish?
He's like a little Zoomer. Right.
And he likes Trump?
Yeah. I mean, he's good friends with all the guys you on the whatever, Myron. And
really?
He's cool with Nick Fuentes, but he's Jewish.
Yeah.
So it's like there's different type of Jews. You know, all Jews aren't the same. And
there's the don't tase me bro guy. I'm blanking on his name, but he's the don't tase me bro guy. He's Jewish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's married to a black gal. He's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been on InfoWars talking about, a lot of Jews are just these liberals and subversive and stuff, but Anyway,
right.
He's
it's like that in every race, because Guatemalans and Mexicans are like the whites and the Jews, or Japanese and Chinese are like that.
Yeah.
Or blacks, American blacks and Africans.
Right. Yeah.
we don't
like, don't get us confused.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
right.
they
Every
do
race
judge one another. That's true.
Yep. Yeah. Red Dot Indians and Pakistanis, they all look alike, but they do not like each other,
Yeah.
The same thing going all around the world,
Indeed.
So, yeah,
even the Irish and the rest of us Anglos.
Right. That's just how the devil works. He's got to pit people against each other and keep us fighting.
Yeah.
And
even within families, people don't really get along. It's just human nature to find disagreement and hyper focus
something
on
to fight about. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we just need to focus on that. Like if Nick Fuentes didn't vote for Trump, or I still love him. I love Kanye too. Kanye played a big role in that too, with the pro-Nazi Hitler thing. But
yeah,
we're all sons of Father Abraham, right?
Yeah,
Father Abraham had many sons, right?
That's right.
I grew up listening to that. I mean, Vacation Bible School. I heard you singing that.
Yeah.
So.
Right on, man.
Okay.
Good to hear from you, Josh.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Okay, Jeff in Louisiana on the line here. I'm going to try to plow through all of y'all's calls. Jeff, thank you, sir. What's up, man?
Hey, man, yesterday morning before all the ceasefire crap coming about, I was listening to one of your competitors, and I heard him say to Iran and the rest of the world, you do not need to play chicken with Trump.
Yeah. That's good advice.
And he pretty much showed it, because everybody's talking about he's a sucker for Israel and all this stuff. When he came out this morning, he said that statement. He condemned Israel bad.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear him say there are two countries fighting somebody they don't know what the F are doing?
Yeah, and I loved it because it's kind of true. They're so sneaky. Probably both sides are. But you know how I saw in my chat, or maybe some Anchor Babies chat, American Anchor Babies coming up next, guy, by the way, that, Israel's going to break their ceasefire anyway. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, I don't know if they're wrong. You might be right that Israel might break their ceasefire and try to sneak and blame Iran for it. But Iran may sneak and try to do something. Who knows who's sneakier and who's more dishonest? I don't know. And I say this as somebody who really likes Bibi, but I don't know.
You know what the funny thing is after the bunker buster bombs, all that stuff, Iran come out and said they're going to kill 50,000 U.S. soldiers and all this stuff. And then when that happened yesterday, Iran fired one bomb, one missile that it hit nowhere.
Yep.
After Israel did all that stuff. And they quit. So that right there says they're just like they're going to come to Trump and say, "Hey, look, we tried. It's Israel's doing it all. We tried to quit."
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get back on the good side, but man, I'm so proud to have a president now that. You never hear none of them. You see George W. Bush get frustrated and want to say something, won't say nothing, and just walk off.
Yeah.
Trump just like, hell with it. I just say whatever.
You know what else was interesting in the contrast with W and Trump? W never fought with the media. He let the media say whatever they wanted, and he wouldn't say a thing. And he, after he left office, he refused to criticize Obama about anything. And Trump is the opposite. He'll criticize Obama, and he'll criticize the media. And I think it's because Trump actually cares about the country, whereas W cares about his image and looking nice, I think.
That's why we were in a 20-year war in Iraq, because W went in and killed Saddam Hussein because Saddam Hussein beat his daddy.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah,
Trump
yeah.
Trump ain't worried about that crap. Trump's worried about getting business handled now.
Right.
Not just dragging on the loop for somebody else. You know, here's the law. Here's what I'm telling you to do. You don't do it, we'll take you out.
Yeah. Nice.
And he pretty much showed the world right then with Iran and the bunker bombs. If you don't agree with us, we'll just blow you
up. Right. Yeah, he showed an overwhelming show of force. Yeah. But it wasn't too damaging to their country. So they can't be too resentful. But yet they have to be scared. So I like it.
The funny thing is the media, they come out saying, well, he gave them 2 weeks. No, he didn't give them 2 weeks. He said, I will have my decision within 2 weeks.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, he said, I saw a little clip of him saying up to 2 weeks. Up to 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And I like how he said that. And then that same night or the next night, he dropped the bomb on them.
That night they put the planes in there because it took them 17 hours to fly over there.
Yeah. Right on.
But man, I mean, I just we better cherish this because we're never going to get a president like this in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's right, man. I'm with you on that.
There's nobody's had one, nobody's going to have one like him.
So refreshing. And he's tested, too. It's not just that he thinks differently. He has the mettle, the strength, the toughness to withstand all of the pressure, because he's getting pressure from all kinds of places, but I don't know if he doesn't feel it or if he just doesn't succumb to it. But he's tough.
Like I said once before in your show is, everybody that gets president trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get like Obama is now, where they're making money all the time and all this stuff. Trump don't care. Trump has money. Trump has power. Trump has everything. Trump don't need this.
Yeah,
he's doing it for all of the country.
That's my take on it too.
Okay, man. I'll just have something quick. I'll let you go.
Thank you, man. Jeff in Louisiana. Great call. I want to get to John in Romania and the rest of these callers. John, thank you for calling in Romania. What's up, man?
Hello, Mr. Hake.
Hey.
I'm calling to give you a comment about Mr. Trump's recent interview when he also dropped the F-bomb
yes,
upon the media and everyone else.
All right.
Just to give a sense of how much he's pissed off, I think. Because I'm guessing that's the first time anyone has heard him dropping the F-bomb on anything. And in my opinion, at least, he's dropped the bomb on what everyone else is thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
The main question, not the derogatory sense of it, but the main questions. What are they fighting for? Because apparently, and I think for them as well, they are fighting over something they don't understand. They are just fighting endlessly, like zombies.
Yeah.
More or less.
I think that's true.
Sorry?
I think you're right about that. It's all ego.
Yeah, I may be right about that. What's your take on the president's take?
I think that he has some common sense, because he says they don't know what these two countries, Israel and Iran, have been fighting so long they don't know what that they're fighting for, or something like that. Oh, they don't know what the flip they're doing. And I think that's true, because the more they fight, the more they feel like they have to fight. Look, Israel has been doing this thing that people are calling a genocide on the Gaza people. And that's getting other people ticked off at them. And so these other people are getting involved, and that's just spreading more evil. You can't fight evil. Let's say what Israel's doing to Gaza and the Palestinians is evil. I don't know, but that's what let's just say that some of it is evil. You don't fight evil with more evil. You're just going to spread more evil. And more evil that they're spreading is fighting with Israel. And now they're fighting with Iran. And you're just spreading evil and ill will and malice. And it's going to spread into America and everywhere. And it's going to be like a World War III if a man doesn't take charge. So a man is taking charge, maybe.
Yes.
And I think that's what Trump is trying to be, a man of peace and a man of strength.
Well, one point that Trump was making is that Israel doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
The other point is that Iran does not know what they are doing.
Right.
And both of them are true. So Israel should not be considered innocent in what they're doing.
That's right.
Just as much as Iran should not be considered innocent in what they're doing. They're both at fault.
Yep.
This is it's a conflict between two countries that are several thousands of kilometers away. Trump is interfering in between them. He tried telling Israel, I'm protecting you. Iran, I bombed you. Qatar, you've suffered something. And we've come to the conclusion of a ceasefire. And afterwards, both of them, break the ceasefire.
That's right.
I don't know at this point who broke it first. But both of them had 12 hours or something like that to break them, in which they could unleash all of their weaponry and rocket power against each other. Apparently, they chose to do so. But President Trump, your president, not mine.
Yeah.
Wish we had more Trumps in all of the countries, actually. He came off pissed off that you guys didn't know what to do with this. I'm pissed off. I protected you. You bombed the others. I'm okay with it. And in the end, you still broke off that word. And now he's pissed off.
Right.
This is the actual first time I've seen Mr. Trump being pissed off about something.
Right. And I think it's
you can sense it in his tone.
Right.
That he really actually is pissed off on both of them. As much as he supported Israel, he doesn't like what either of them has done.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's wise how he's presenting himself. He's not playing like this is some little game. Oh Lord, never mind. Sorry about that. But I was gonna show the clip where he said it, but I have to bleep out where he full blown cusses. But yeah,
then you show it for nothing. That's the word that actually means something in this actual conflict.
Yeah,
he's the one that's what's the expression? The English expression. You nailed the nail on the coffin. He nailed that and came out with some 500 million psi and nailed that nail to the ground. He put the dot on the I.
He put them on notice. Both of them.
Yeah.
And especially
he put the
Israel.
whole world on notice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I think that this will help. This line may help towards Israel getting back in line. And I heard they had a phone call, and Israel is like, okay, all right, we'll back off. And we'll see how long that lasts, but whatever. Right on Trump.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not now trusting any one of you.
Yeah.
As much as he was expressing sympathy towards Israel, and Israel was expressing sympathy towards him, and not sympathy that Iran was expressing sympathy, the not sympathy Iran was expressing towards Trump, and what she's showing towards Iran, which is not entirely non-sympathy.
Right. He's showing that he's honoring his word, and that he wants them to honor their word. Otherwise, you can't have a high trust society or a high trust world if Iran and Israel keep going back on their word and just blaming each other for it. Totally.
Yeah, right. But that also shows that Trump is not entirely in Israel's, what's it called, plans and
pocket.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Pocket, yeah.
Yep. He's not controlled by them.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's the leader of your United States. He cares for your people. He wants to provide for you.
That's right.
Like I said, many more countries need a Trump leader.
I'm reading the chat.
Effing amazing.
Somebody claims in the chat that he's reading the news now, and they say they're going to continue bombing Iran. Presumably that means Israel. And if Israel does that, maybe they'll be on their own then, because Trump has kind of indicated that if they do that, they'll be on their own. It kind of.
So be it then.
Yeah. And it'll be what
I mean, yeah, coming from you.
So nice.
You are a bit of a fan of Israel.
I am, but I trust Trump's hand. I trust Trump to be able to handle the situation better than I would, because I don't know. I'm not in the situation.
You trust Trump to handle the situation in Israel better than Israel is doing.
Right.
For itself.
Yep.
I get your point. I trust him the same. If Trump interferes in any foreign affairs stuff, I trust him.
Right.
If he comes to Romania and he says, do this and that, I suspect this and I see that and so on, okay, go right ahead the hell away, Mr. Trump.
Right.
Because he really does have that presence.
That's right.
Like a leader who cares for his people. No matter what is his history. Because like Jesse says, what you've done in the past, you can't describe right now. It's long gone and past. The future doesn't exist either. So what you're left with is right here, right now.
That's so true, man. Thank you, man. I got to keep it moving. It's good to hear from you, John, in Romania.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right. See you the next time, and take care, and all the best to you and all the team. And tell Mr. Peterson I said hi.
Tell who? Oh, tell Mr. Peterson. Tell Jesse I said that you said hi.
Mr. Peterson, yeah.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All righty then.
All right.
Take good care. All the best. Cheers.
Right. Bye. Let me see if I can play this. What in the world? You see what's happening, Nick? What? This thing comes with a pop-up. This thing, I should not have. This is on virus. Maybe so, huh? That's an ad. That's an ad. Yeah, I know. But it just switches over from Mediaite. So I guess I can't go to Mediaite. Maybe I should delete that from my thing.
Mediaite does that. Daily Mail started doing that.
Okay. And it started to protect me from it, and I said, no, I'm like, you're protecting me from Mediaite website, and so you may have to change some setting here. You want to say? Explain that?
No, I mean, I'm thinking you're saying something else now. I thought you were saying that you got an ad
because this
for
thing,
Mediaite.
yeah, I thought that it was calling Mediaite a suspicious website, and so I'm like, no, go anyway, and so I clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah,
like
that,
a boomer.
see, that's the thing.
And now it'll just go.
But ads can disguise themselves as a thing that's saying as a
no,
privacy.
No. This was
This was for sure. Windows telling you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now it just goes. I just gave it to the green light to change websites on them.
I will check that.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I don't know if you're able to do that, but anyway, so I can't show you the thing because Mediaite stinks, and Hake stinks too, because Hake is a boomer. But anyway, we can move on. You guys saw the clip. It played it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. We don't need to repeat it. And anyway, I don't have time. I want to try to get to more of my callers. Let's get to Dwight in Long Beach, California, who's on the line here. Dwight, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
How you doing, brother? Hey, you didn't tell JLP you're looking for a black girlfriend, did you?
No.
Okay.
Why would I tell somebody something that's not true?
Maybe you were joking or something. I don't know. You just trying to do a little fib on him.
I never said anything to that effect.
Oh, thank God. I was praying.
Is that because of what Sion typed to me?
No, I just saw him pass out over the weekend, and I was like, oh, man, could Hake be responsible for this? Like, is this Hake's doing, Because, did he betray JLP's, trust and just go astray? Is that what's going on? I'm just kidding. But no, I wanted to comment on two things. First, since I was a kid, since I was born in 1986, I believe we've been in World War III. I don't think it's ever stopped. I think a lot of people think World War III is this nuclear attack that's going to happen. But really, it's just a slow funneling of our country's resources. It's Israel. It's been that way since 1948.
Thank you for your call, man. I appreciate it. I have to keep it moving. Ed in Oklahoma is on the line. What's up, Ed? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Long time no speak.
Right on.
Hey, man, I didn't know if y'all had noticed this or talked about it yet because I don't catch every part of both shows. But in Mexico, the Mexicans are having protests against migrants from Central America, telling them to get out of Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought that was a bit ironic, or is it moronic?
It's typical because they're not gonna. They don't love each other.
It's on you.
Your phone is messing up, Ed in Oklahoma.
Days ago.
Hold on, let me put you on hold, sir. Your phone is a mess right now. Let me get to Jaime in Minnesota. Jaime, you have like a minute or 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, Iran centrifuges. A lot of them got destroyed, so they can't do anything with that nuclear material. They can't make it higher.
So Trump did destroy those centrifuges, confirmed? Centrifuges?
Well, they were there in the mountains, and those mountains blew up pretty good.
Okay.
And these centrifuges, they're big, but they're not built like a tank or anything.
Oh, okay.
But just to get all those centrifuges back or build them would take them a long, long, long time. And everybody's eyes are on them. So it's not going to happen. This is I celebrated last night with hamburgers.
Why hamburgers?
Because they're American.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is it also
it's
German?
A big celebratory. I'm not sure. But I put some paprika, I put some cumin, I put some turmeric. Big in the Middle East. So shout out to everybody.
So good. That's good news then. And that may be good for Iran too, because now they don't have to deal with it. We dealt with it for them.
They can focus on bigger
what kind of
and better
bread?
things.
Derek wants to know what kind of bread. Or
gluten-free. Gluten-free. I can't have gluten.
Is that for general health, or is that a specific?
No, it messes up my stomach.
Okay, nice.
Oh.
So Iran centrifuge is destroyed. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update.
Bye.
Take care. All right. Let me try Ed again. His phone was kind of messed up. Ed in Oklahoma, you're back on.
Hey. Yeah, I'm driving. I might have hit a little questionable spot, but I don't have it on speaker or anything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that how they're protesting in Mexico, if y'all wanted to cover that, because it's obviously not in the news.
So the Mexican people are protesting what?
In Mexico, yes. In Mexico.
Or is it illegals in Mexico, migrants in Mexico protesting?
No, it's Mexicans in Mexico in the streets, like, very upset that people from Central America are showing up there and want them out of their country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can look it up.
Mexico is pretty tough on immigration, I heard. But
yeah, they are.
But now do we have Remain in Mexico back?
I don't know. I just thought that was real weird because
Nick heard that in Mexico City, Mexicans were protesting and putting up flyers telling American expats to go back, get out of their country. That's not very wise. Don't the expats have money?
Yeah, I did see that as well, but this was specifically about people from Central America showing up.
Wow.
Is what it said anyway, unless, the information's wrong, and it's recent too, so I just thought maybe that would be something to talk about.
Okay, yeah, thanks for the heads. I don't really I think protests are silly. I've always kind of thought it, but I did enjoy doing them when I started going to Bond things and JLP protests for against Planned Parenthood, for the Second Amendment, all that stuff. But nice, right on. Thank you. For the heads
I don't believe protests are organic. I believe they started by some faction, and people show up that are just dummies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Regular people. But I don't think any of it's organic. I don't believe even the war protests in the, like when Vietnam and all that was going on. None of that was organic, man.
Somebody said, Chad O. Jackson. I saw an Instagram post from him talking about how, protests, how they want regime change in Iran, like a popular uprising, right? Well, a lot of governments try to foment, quote unquote, popular uprisings, such as the civil rights movement and all these different things. And it is to manipulate power more for the government. And it's in America and it's outside of America that they're doing it. That's crazy.
Well, think about it. Think about it. They had the draft, if you remember, for years, and then when Vietnam kind of hit, they were having to draft people, and then after all those protests, they never needed to draft people anymore. So what it did is it created the opposite effect, because people just hated the hippies or whoever was out there protesting.
Yeah.
So they just called themselves patriots automatically, and was like, okay, I'm going.
The government helped those anti-war protests. They were involved.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't organic. Yeah.
Yep. And they thought that they were fighting the power, but they were losing their power to fight.
Of course, sheep will show up and act like they want to feel important or whatever.
Exactly.
And so, but yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I don't believe any of it's organic.
Well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate it, man. Take care.
No problem. You too.
All right. Bye. And I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. Rick in Hampton, VA. Rick, we literally only have 30 seconds, but I had to get to you, man. Go.
What's up, bro, James, man? What do you think about President Trump bombing Iran's nuclear facilities?
I don't know, but I basically trust him. I'm not for bombing nor against bombing Iran, but he did it, so it's done. Whatever. That's what I think.
Look, I got the same answer you got. I'm gonna wait to see what happens. As you know, they jumped all on it, man. I'm getting ready to go to church Sunday, and that's all you hear. The United States bombed Iran. Everybody's like overreacting.
Yeah. Rick, I gotta go,
You know.
man. It's I literally only had 30 seconds, so let's we'll get on out of here. Say goodbye to the folks for me, Rick.
Hey, goodbye, my brothers and sisters. Listen to the Hake Report. La la la. And y'all stay cool as he, because I know in Hampton Beach.
I gotta go, Rick. Take care.
Mid-90s. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed.
All right, bye. Bye, guys. Peace in the Middle East.